Hi, everyone. Good Saturday evening to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. We've got a severe weather update to bring you here this evening as strong to severe thunderstorms continue to push into northwest Indiana. Lake County feeling the brunt of that right now. The good news, if you're joining this broadcast, we're starting a little after 9 o'clock Central Time. As of right now, there is no severe thunderstorm warning and no tornado watch out for any portion of northwest Indiana. So that's some great news as these storms are just below the severe limits as they're racing really in the Lake County right now. Porter County, it's not going to be a whole lot longer for you. So what I want to get to is the radar right now. What we're going to look at is where the storms are. I'll show you what's inside these storms so you know what to expect as they move through. They're packing a decent punch, but again, everything below severe limits here as of this evening, and that's the way we want to keep it. We had severe weather off towards the west. These storms are showing some signs of weakening as they move into a little bit more stable air mass. If you joined us earlier this evening, we had a post talking about how that initial line we had, perhaps that could kind of subdue the severity of these storms here this evening. And I think it's done that because we got some good rain here. They didn't get a lot of that good rain just off towards our west. They had a little bit more heating after that. So hopefully that's going to keep everything sub-severe here this evening. So what I want to get to right now, that you can't hear me because I dropped out. That's great. All right. So I'm going to stay on this if that's okay. I'm trying new technology, and I'm telling you, it is just a cluster setting all this stuff up that I have. I have something on a tripod on top of one of my kids' toys. I've got a TV on over here, another monitor here, another monitor here. So I think when I go off screen, you can't hear me. So that's what we're dealing with. So I'm glad we're back, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me okay right now. All right, let's give you a recap of what I was going over. Strong storms right now pushing through Lake County. You're dealing with it. You're seeing the heavy rain right now. We've got some lightning. There's a little bit of small hail in with this as well. But this is the cell we're watching right over Lake County. It's right over I-65 now, crossing over into the Hobart area, eventually into the Portage area as well. We've got gusty winds, some small hail, and the big thing you'll notice is just the really heavy rain and lots of lightning with it as well. All right. Yes, I'm back. Hi, everybody. Ann's in Portage, and you're about to get hit with some real heavy rain and some lightning with this as this moves in. As of right now, it's not severe. Down towards the south, we're dealing with other area of thunderstorms trying to get going here. These are the ones I want to keep an eye on, are these singular cells that are developing. Sometimes those can kind of have a mind of their own. There is a little bit of shear present in the atmosphere. It's nothing to panic about, but there is a reason for the air to kind of twist as it goes up. That happens all the time in thunderstorms. So this certainly isn't something out of the ordinary, but I'm going to keep my eye on those cells, those developing just to the north and east of Rensselaer, heading towards the Couts and North Judson area here within the next half hour. Other line of storms back towards the west. I think this is going to stay sub-severe as it pushes into areas of Newton County down towards Benton County. I think that'll stay sub-severe because the bulk of the energy right now is with this line right here, heading through Lake County into Porter County and then areas of Jasper County, especially northern half of the county. So if you were anywhere from Lake County out towards the east into Porter and LaPorte counties, you need to be heads up for these storms because they're packing a punch as they move on in. Again, everything is below severe limits right now. We'd like to keep it that way. The rainfall that we had earlier this afternoon has kind of helped damper our severe threat here this evening as our instability wasn't able to get quite as high as it was off towards the west where they had a lot of damaging wind and even a couple tornado warnings with that earlier. So let's go inside these storms. This is the big storm right now I want to track. We'll go to live on here to show you where it is right now. You can see real heavy rain coming through Hobart right now. The Maryville area is starting to improve. We're improving in the Hammond, Cherville, St. John area, likely to seeing some moderate rain right now. But it's this initial hit that moves in. South Haven, Portage, you're right in the line of this. This thing's packing a punch as it moves in. We've had some lightning strikes as well. But what else I want to show you on here, let's look at the wind, because that's really what I want to keep my eye on. I want to make sure there's nothing squirrely with these storms, right? No areas of twist or anything like that. And I'm not seeing that right now. Let's keep it that way. I think that's a good sign. You can see down towards Hebron, we're dealing with a little area of gusty wind there. You can see some brighter shades of red indicating some stronger wind within that thunderstorm. But the other one we're watching is this one right here. And we've got strong wind heading through eastern areas of Lake County, right along the Boorman, up towards the lakeshore. And again, that's what's going to be moving into the Portage and the Ogden Dunes area here in the next 5 minutes, is going to be a gust of some stronger wind, some very heavy rain, and some lightning as this continues off towards the east. Valparaiso, Chesterton, you're in the line of this as well. This will continue to put, I would say, another 15, 20 minutes for you before you get some stronger winds and that heavier rain as it continues off towards the east. The other thing we can look at within these thunderstorms is the hail. And as I mentioned, there's some small hail falling within the storm, and that's being picked up by our radar. We call that the VIL, or the vertically integrated liquid. What a big product to use on a Saturday night, right? But you can see a pretty decent hail core there down towards the Hebron area, another one towards the Hobart area. So why we're seeing some of those higher reflectivity values, which would be this right here, why we're seeing some of those darker reds and pinks is because we've got some hailstones mixed in there. So the radar saying, the raindrops are coming back to me saying it's, some heavy rain, but you're also getting these big hailstones, which tend to up that reflectivity spike, which that's why we're seeing some of these pinks in here as well. So in addition to very heavy rain, we've got some of that hail as well to move in. So Portage, not too long for you. Ogden Dunes, probably another minute or two. Portage, I would say another 3 or 4 minutes before this really moves into you from west to east. Lake Station getting hit pretty hard right now with some hail and some very heavy rain. Hobart, you've got probably another 10 minutes before this clears on out, and then eventually heading over towards Valpo and eventually out into LaPorte County, but we've got a little bit of time on that. So the general movement of these are moving pretty slowly, believe it or not, from west to east. The entire line is moving slower than the individual thunderstorms. So these storms trucking anywhere from about 40 to 45 miles per hour, but the general line is moving about 30 to 35 miles per hour as that continues to advance out towards the east. And again, these storms are packing a punch, but they are sub-severe as of right now. We'd like to keep it that way. There's no severe thunderstorm watch for us locally. All that took place a county off towards our west. There's no tornado watch for us locally. So the chances as we go throughout the rest of the evening for severe weather are starting to lower. But the one storm I really want to keep an eye on is this one, which will likely merge with these southern storms coming out of areas of Jasper County. We're likely to see a general line that's going to form something like this and roll through LaPorte County and Stark County here in the next half hour to hour. So that line is going to likely have some strong winds with it, some lightning as well, perhaps some small hail. But again, let's keep it all below severe limits. We'll be okay with that. All right. Feel free to, I know you guys are seeing a lot of the comments on here as well. So, share what you're seeing in your town. We've got several things coming in terms of reports. Jennifer saying it just started downpouring in the Wheatfield area. Jennifer, that's really going to pick up here shortly as it moves in. Vanessa, right in the heart of it right now, pouring in Portage. Vanessa, let me know if you saw any hail with that as well. There's some hail nearby that'll probably move in the next, I would say, 5 minutes. You could be seeing some small hail with that. Doesn't look like anything severe right now in terms of the hail, but it's close. And seeing lots of lightning and hearing lots of thunder in the Portage area. Michael, you're absolutely welcome. JK, thank you for that update out of Portage. Yeah, you're right in the heart of it right now in Portage as this storm continues to move in. You can see here's Portage right here. We've got some of the higher reflectivity just off towards your west. So Lake Station down towards the Hobart area, seeing some very heavy rainfall right now as that continues to advance out towards the east. Skylar, thank you for that report right now. No hail, lots of thunder and lightning, whole sky's lit up. Yeah, this is a decent storm. Aaron's having a party in Hobart. That's good. Jennifer, I'm sorry about your dogs. Man, thunder shirts are the way to go, at least from what I've heard. A lot of people swear by those things, and maybe they have those on. I know a lot of dogs do not do well with thunderstorms, and there's not a lot of lightning and thunder with this. I know the sky's lighting up, but by by summer standards, we tend to get some real good lightning shows on here. This is not one of those real good lightning shows, but we've got enough of it moving through to obviously scare the pups and, to make it noteworthy to come inside. Holly drove through some of it in Cherville. Holly, thank you for that report on that. Probably wasn't nice to drive through. We've got a lot of ponding and water roadways. Rainfall rates within this are anywhere from 1 to 2 inches an hour. Thankfully, it's not going to rain for an hour with this, but we certainly have some very heavy rain with that as well. Vanessa, thanks for the update. Susan reporting in for the DeMont area. Lightning and thunder moving in. Thank you for that update. Lorna says Crown Point seems quiet. Let's go down to Crown Point and talk about those of you in Lake County. We have a lot of region weather folks out of the Lake County area, and you can see what we're dealing with. That main line moved through. We've got just some general rain with some thunder. And really what we're going to see in Crown Point, nothing severe from here on out. Your severe weather clear in my book. We've got some heavier rain that's going to move in. So that rain will pick back up in Crown Point probably in another 15, 20 minutes or so. And you may have some thunder and lightning, but the severe part's over. This is just a general stratiform rain that's developing. So it's that rain with occasional thunder, kind of nice to listen to as long as you have everything closed, obviously. But the real severe threat from here is really with this line right here. Right in there is the leading edge of that, the part of energy that's moving in. Back and behind it, I'm not worried about any of this at all. It's really this leading edge here that is now moving out of Lake County into Porter County. So Lake County, I'm about to severe weather clear you, which is good news. Porter County, not quite yet. This is really starting to get going. And now forming a decent cell just south of Valparaiso right now. So here's where it is right now. This is the heaviest rain. Again, we're seeing some small hail within this. We're seeing some lightning as well. We're seeing all sorts of wind gusts within this line that are all kind of different depending on where you are on the map. We've got gusty wind, a pocket here, but everyone's going to pretty much experience the same thing with this if you're in Porter County. So the line now pushing through Portage. You're in the heart of it in Portage right now, likely seeing some small hail. South Haven getting into it. The worst of it is north of you, up towards the Portage area. Ogden Dunes getting hit pretty good as well. Chesterton, you're starting to see some raindrops right now. It's going to get heavier over the next 5 or 10 minutes. And again, not expecting anything severe as of right now. This is a strong thunderstorm, but is not severe. I'm plugged in directly with the National Weather Service, so I'll know if they're going to issue something, and that's even before your phone goes off. So we'll keep you updated on that. But their last update's just talking about these strong thunderstorms pushing into Porter County right now. Down towards the south, we're likely getting a hail core here, just south and west of Valparaiso. You can see on the radar there, we're seeing some pretty decent radar returns as that comes in. And I'm going to kind of refresh this real quick. You're going to see that screen go off. We're going to plug it back in because for some reason that is frozen, and I don't need a frozen radar here this hour. There we go. That's what we're zoomed in on just south of the Valparaiso area. So seeing a pretty decent hail core there with that. Watching these storms down in areas of northern Jasper County. DeMont, you just got missed by the first one, but you're seeing a decent downpour now. Wheatfield getting hit pretty hard by this one. Produced some heavy rain. It's moving on out. Not a lot of lightning with that in Wheatfield. If you're in Couts or La Crosse or over towards the Wanata area, it's just a matter of good 5 to 10 minutes or so. These storms will be pushing into you. Madairyville seeing some heavier rain right now. That extends down towards Francisville. None of that is severe right now, and it doesn't look like, as I'm scanning the radar, that we're going to see anything severe pop out of that, at least over the next 15 minutes. So that's some good news. The one cell that really, I think, is really packing a punch is this Porter County cell, and it's a line. So it's numerous cells here. And this one right here is what I'm watching that's just popping up south and west of Valparaiso, now pushing into downtown. This has some hail with it, and we're also seeing a little uptick in some of the lightning. Whenever you have more lightning or the lightning really picks up within a cell, it indicates that you've got some energy with it, okay? You've got a little bit of atmospheric energy that's, bouncing everything up and down, getting those electrons charged, and the ice molecules that are bouncing around, forming that electric charge as well. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing an uptick in that. That tells you the updrafts, downdrafts are a little bit more excited than they have been. So that typically leads to a stronger thunderstorm in the next 5 minutes. So I think this cell just south and west of Valpo is something that we need to watch for the chance that we could have some larger hail, some heavier rain, maybe some strong winds with this. I don't see a tornado risk right now. That's good news. Let's keep it that way. I want to go back to velocity. This is our wind product. And again, there's nothing squirrely on here that would indicate that there's a tornado or anything like that here over the next 15 minutes or so. We'll have to watch this right here. What we look for are those reds and greens next to each other, but you look for a real tight couplet, and I don't see that with this. There's just a little bit of shear present in the atmosphere, so not expecting, again, a big tornado outbreak or anything like that, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Strong winds up towards the lakeshore. Portage likely seeing some breezy, if not windy conditions with this. That's extending out towards the lake, but even most of this up here is subsevere, which is good. That's why we're not warned. And this is the cell, again, just south and west of Valparaiso that I'll be watching very closely. Brenda says, thank you for the report there. Southern Porter County now quieting down. I totally believe that. You'll probably quiet down and then pick up some rain in a little bit here. So let's go back to Southern Porter County. So you're right in here. Yeah, most of the activity off towards your north, likely still getting a couple scattered downpours depending on where you are in the county. We go back towards Lake County. You can see this big batch of some heavier rain that we've got moving in now. That will move in here shortly into Cedar Lake, Crown Point. You're going to get some rain again, but the severe threat's over with. And then down towards the south, we're dealing with more of the same down towards the Roselawn area, seeing some heavier rain that continues to push in as well. All right. Let's see. I saw someone report hail. Robert said just had quite a bit of hail in Portage near US Highway 20. Yep. That's where our number one hail core was. That hail is now north of 8094. It's up towards Ogden Dunes and Burns Harbor, seeing some real decent hail out of this storm. Your hail threat in Portage is about over now. The heavy rain should end in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. We should be okay after that. Valparaiso getting a heavy downpour right now. We've got some hail south of town. It's just south of US 30. So we're seeing probably some small hail within that as well in Porter County. And then down south, we've got a stronger storm developing just south of Roselawn. That will likely head up towards DeMont here shortly as well. And that's going to be a storm to keep an eye on. I think my radar continues to freeze up. So a quick little hit there. And we're going to go back to this. I'm telling you, the technology it takes just to get a radar on your screen, it's pretty crazy. There we go. There's our Roselawn storm right here. Again, nothing severe with that, but that's popping. And then as we get up towards Porter County seeing the brunt of it right now. Here's your county outline. And you can see most of our activity falls right within that. So from Chesterton all the way down towards the Valparaiso area, we're certainly seeing some decent activity in terms of the storms. Let's see. Brenda says that. Maxwell saying weak rotation southwest of Couts. Yeah, I see it, Maxwell. Nothing to be, right home about right now. Storms do rotate all the time. I think everyone needs to keep that in mind. Storms, there's supercell all the time in the summertime, not just out in the plains, but locally, we do have some rotation with our storms. What we need to watch is for that real tight rotation. And what Maxwell's talking about is this right here. This is what we talked about just to the north and west of Couts now, heading towards Valparaiso. It's nothing to be alarmed about. Again, this happens all the time. We've got a little gust of wind here, and you get some weaker wind that's going back towards the radar this way. So, it happens, but it doesn't look tight enough to even warn right now. But it's something we need to keep an eye on. You can see another little pocket of some squirrely wind here. You've got wind like that. Wind's kind of coming out like that. So winds, if you ever look at a cloud when it's moving in with a storm, you'll tend to see all sorts of twists and rolling action, especially if you take a time lapse of it. Certainly storms do that. It's a chaotic atmosphere up above us. Things aren't just blowing one direction, going all over the place. You have rain and hail that's falling. That brings air down. You have updrafts, which is bringing air up. Air is going everywhere up there. It's no wonder that we can even begin to predict that because it's so chaotic, but certainly something we'll keep an eye on for there. Felicia, appreciate the update saying it's here in Chesterton. Yeah, let's go back to our reflectivity product showing where the rain is. And yeah, it's just starting in Chesterton. If you're on the west side of town, you're probably getting into it right now. Let me go back to the hail radar because I think we might have some hail that just developed just west of the Chesterton area. So you may be getting some hail there, Felicia, here shortly. And there you go. So here's our 2 hail cores right now. What you're seeing here on the colors, when you look for the yellow, that's when we likely have some small hail. So Portage, you're getting out of it, but that's moving into Chesterton and then Dune Acres, and then just southwest of Valparaiso, picking up some pretty good hail as we expected with that storm that'll likely push into town here shortly with some of that hail that we've got. Back to the reflectivity we go, and you can see some of the heavier rain that we've got now in Valpo. That extends back just northeast of Hebron. We've got some pretty decent hail and heavy rain with that. If you're in Westville, the Wanata area, likely to see some heavy rain with this storm here probably in another 5 or 10 minutes or so before that continues out towards the east. Michigan City, we haven't forgot about you. You can see you've got some heavier rain That'll start here in the next 5 minutes. You'll likely have some downpours, and then you'll really get in the thick of things for a good 10, 15 minutes or so as that main line moves in. But once this line is through, folks, I really think our severe weather threat's over. It's this part right here that I'm going to continue to watch, which stretches all the way from Chesterton down towards the Couts area, North Judson as well. That whole entire area is really what we need to watch in terms of any severity with this whatsoever. JK says dying down in Portage. Absolutely. Yeah, you're done. Portage is about clear. We'll get more rain and more lightning, but nothing severe. The severe threat's really over from that. Felicia, thanks for that update on the hail. I appreciate that. April, thanks for the update on the small hail in Hobart. Yeah, that would coincide with what we've got for sure. Rebecca, you're absolutely I was gonna say you're absolutely wonderful. You are, Rebecca, but you're absolutely welcome for sure. I'm turning around doing the morning show tomorrow, so I'm right to bed tonight after we get done with this coverage, which I think we'll be able to wrap up pretty shortly. I'm not seeing anything severe that's sticking out, just some good thunderstorms for sure. Felicia, seeing some hail. Yeah, it's insane what the atmosphere can do. Hopefully it's not too large. I would guess probably dime size at best, maybe a little smaller than that. Again, once it hits quarter size, that's when those storms go severe, so keep that in mind. Jana, thank you for that update. Dying down in Hammond. Yes, it is. Michelle says it's done in Portage. Absolutely. We're wrapping it up there. I think my radar disconnected again. I'm going to have to get a fix on this. If you get these cheap adapters on Amazon, sometimes they, I don't know what kind of information it's taken off my iPad, but I'm sure it's taking something from me. And I laugh about that, but I'm really quite nervous about that for sure. All right. It looks like everything's just frozen on there. That's just great. All right. Anyway, in terms of the radar, what it looks like on the screen, what it's frozen on right now is completely fine. That's exactly what it looks like still. So that's some good news. Skylar's hubby's upset that there was no hail in Portage. Oh, Skylar, I'm sorry. Your husband must be a weather fanatic like me. That's good. Tell him to keep up the good work. Yeah, the hail in Portage, it wasn't very spotty. I think most people saw hail in Portage, but you must have been in a good spot for sure. Deborah, thanks for the update there. Moving in the Demont area, just east of Roselawn. Yeah, it sure is. Absolutely. That's that cell we were watching earlier. If you could see, I would be zoomed in on it right now. But that's going to be pushing in shortly. That's going to be a real quick hit, probably 5 minutes of downpour, maybe some hail, and then it's just going to be a heavier rain after that. That's kind of where we're headed. We've got heavy rain moving back into Lake County. This is kind of the back edge of the system. Again, not severe. I'm not expecting anything severe from Lake County from here on out. So Crown Point, Cedar Lake, Lowell, seeing some heavier rain again. There are occasional lightning flashes with this, so don't go outside. I probably don't need to tell you that, but just in case, there is still going to be some lightning, but there's not going to be anything severe from that. Heavy rain extending down towards the south as well. Newton and Jasper County, you're going to get back into the heavy rain as this next batch moves back in. But that severe part that we're watching, which is sub-severe right now, there's nothing severe on radar. The stronger thunderstorm part is now crossing. It's going to get ready to go out of Porter County into LaPorte and Stark counties here shortly. So if you're in Michigan City, Westville, you notice the dark skies really darkening up. You hear the lightning, or you see the lightning, hear the thunder. That will be just a matter of minutes before it moves in. Wanata down towards La Crosse, seeing some heavier rain right now. But by far the strongest cell in Northwest Indiana is that cell in Chesterton, which is heading towards Beverly Shores and Town of Pines. And the other one's in Valparaiso right now. Valpo, you're about done with this. It's not going to be long before this thing's gone, but we still got some heavy rain and perhaps some small hail there as well. So that's kind of what we're dealing with, all right, is the heavier rain, but that's about it. We're not really seeing anything in terms of severe with this. We're seeing some pockets of gusty winds. We're seeing some hail. We're seeing lightning, obviously, but the heavy rain is really going to be the thing you notice, and hopefully we'll continue to keep it this way, all right? Let's see, Trisha asking, will Bremen, Plymouth see the weather soon? Yeah, it's heading towards you. You've got a little bit of time. Plymouth area, I would say you're going to have to keep an eye on the Winnemac storm that we've got right now, which is probably another 45 to an hour away. It's going to take a little bit of time before it gets there. You might get a couple pops before. And what I mean by that is you might get a couple downpours, a scattered thunderstorm or two that move in. But the bulk of that line will probably be another hour out or so for you. Okay. Jennifer, you're welcome. Absolutely. If anyone else, any other questions, go ahead and ask them now, because I don't think we're going to stay live much longer. And I just say that because I don't want to make a big deal out of a line of storms that's sub-severe. You're going to get some rain, you're going to get some lightning, but I'm really not seeing anything right now noteworthy that is really anything more than a typical summer thunderstorm that's pushing through. Trisha Ann, you're welcome for sure. So in terms of strong winds right now, there's some really strong wind out over Lake Michigan. That's going to be Berrien County's problem up towards the New Buffalo area. But Michigan City likely to get a wind gust here, maybe on the order 30 to 40. And that will happen in the next 10 minutes or so, probably coming off the lake. You know how things kind of come off the lake there. Barbara, you're absolutely welcome for sure. So that's what we've got for you up towards the north. But in terms of wind, even that Valparaiso storm doesn't have a lot of wind with it. There's a couple gusts in there, but nothing crazy. Let me see. Weather Service just pushed out some wind damage reports. Navy Pier had a 39 mile per hour wind. That's not a big deal. 45 mile per hour wind Montrose Harbor. So these are all marine sensors that they had. 36, 45 mile per hour wind gusts and a 39 mile per hour wind gust in the same spot, another one at Navy Pier. So 30, 45 mile per hour wind, sub-severe. That's great news. This is not going to be that big of a deal as it continues to push east, all right? And most of the wind is out over the water right now, so that's some good news. Maxwell, you're welcome. That storm has lost all of its rotation, Maxwell, so nothing to worry about with that, and that's north and east of you. Let's see, Lana asking, is Couts in the clear yet? Let me check. You're pretty close to it. You've got one more downpour getting ready to move through, but yeah, you're pretty much in the clear. I think if we were to have a severe part of this storm, it'd be moving into LaPorte County right now. So Porter County, I know you're seeing the heavy rain. The bulk of this is now pushing out of your county. So Porter County, you're going to be severe weather clear. Newton, Jasper counties, you're severe weather clear. I'm not anticipating anything severe. There is more rain moving in. Keep that in mind. We've got another a line of downpours that'll move in. It's into Lake County now. It's into Newton County now. That will spread east. Those downpours that you see and some of the embedded lightning you have is all sub-severe. There's no chance of that turning severe. Our real severe threat extends out towards the east now into LaPorte County and then Stark County as well. Those are the two counties that I would be concerned with if we were to have a severe thunderstorm. But as of right now, everything's behaving pretty nicely as this is just turning into a good old-fashioned gully washer, as they'd say. And I don't know who says that, but I heard that growing up, so I say it all the time now too. I know what a gully washer is, but I don't know who says that for sure. Kevin asked me about the Bulls. Not now, Kevin. We'll talk sports later. Let's see. John says, do you think the rain and cloud cover diminish the threat tonight? You mean in terms of this evening? Yeah, John, we talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast. We had that initial line of rain, which we knew about. It's always a question is, does the sun bounce out and does our instability go back up? But we had that rain through what? It was like 12:30. It was lunchtime. And a lot of places out towards our west where they saw the big storms, those areas had the sunshine while we were getting the rain. So they were able to heat up during that peak heating. So I totally think that diminished our threat tonight, which was always a possibility. You know, the strongest storms were expected out towards the west, but that threat was supposed to carry through the region. And I think that morning rain kind of did that, which I have no complaints over that. I'd rather get these storms out of here. Let's get the rain for the plants and all the stuff that, you know, we've got in the ground. Let's get it out of here without wind damage. How about that? Brian asking, how about Hebron? Your severe weather clear in Hebron. You've got a nice break right now, Brian. Heavier rain's going to push back in probably another 5 or 10 minutes, but that's not going to be severe. You're going to see just some heavier downpours, occasional thunder, nothing bad with that. Jay, you're welcome for sure. Deborah, absolutely. I appreciate that. You know, appreciate your trust. I really do. You know that. That's great. Chris said just starting in LaPorte County. Yeah, it's now moving into LaPorte County. So we're seeing heavier rain. That initial band now into Westville, the Wanata area, just getting into Michigan City. Town of Pines getting hit pretty good with a decent downpour, perhaps small hail with that as well. Maxwell says Valpo is calming down. That's good. Dan, thanks for joining us. You're just fine over in Hammond. You've got some heavier rain right now. It's probably a nice steady rain. You've got occasional lightning strikes. There's nothing severe with that. That's what we call stratiform rain. So it's nothing rooted down to the surface. Everything's fine. So your severe weather threat is over in Hammond. So you can go about your evening. The rain should even clear here probably in another half hour or so. You'll get out of the rain. We'll be okay. All right. Kevin, you're welcome. I know. I just don't have time to think about the Bulls right now. I would love to. We should do a sports show, but no, I appreciate that. Kevin, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Susan. Sleep tight. Okay, Rhonda, I'm sorry about the dog still hiding. There's still a little thunder and lightning around for you in this next batch. So these are probably going to be those good rumbles, the ones that really get down into the earth that you feel for sure. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so let's wrap this up because really, I don't want to panic anyone because we're not about panicking. We'll just tell you how it is. These are just general good thunderstorms that are now moving out towards the east. So who's in, who's out? If you're in LaPorte County, there's still a slight threat that these storms could be severe or turn severe as they move in. LaPorte County. If you're in Porter County, things are getting better by the second. All right. We've got one more downpour in the Valparaiso area. Couts is seeing one more downpour, and then that line's out of there. And you'll get more rain. That's in Lake County, but nothing severe with that. If you are in Stark County, from North Judson to Knox, you have a limited severe threat, but there's still a threat. Some of these storms could get stronger, so we'll keep an eye on that. But really, it's LaPorte County and Stark County, and that's it. The rest of you, if you're in Lake County, Newton, Jasper, Porter County, even, you're severe weather clear. I'm not anticipating anything severe the rest of the evening. You're going to get another round of rain and some lightning, but there's nothing severe with that. The atmosphere is tamed now with this first line, and you'll be good to go. And then eventually we'll clear things out. Okay. So that's kind of how the rest of the evening's looking at right now. Okay. Connor, I hope that answers your question about DeMont. You're fine. Crown Point, yep, you're seeing the heavier rain. This is that next batch moving through. Again, just heavy rain, occasional lightning, not anticipating hail or strong winds with this next batch that goes through. You can kind of see it there on the radar. You can see how we have that initial line in Porter heading down towards areas of western Stark and western LaPorte County. And then we get that other area back towards the Illinois border. That's what's moving in now with some of the heavier rain. Okay. So we are good to go. Okay. All right. That's it. Sleep. I've got a really early wake up call for the morning show tomorrow. So I wanted to get us, and we certainly did that. All right. Everything was fine. It stayed below severe weather limits, and we like it like that. No big deal, right? We'll take the rain, though. We could certainly use it going into spring. We don't want to be dry like they are out towards the west. Okay. Appreciate you guys joining us. Stay safe tonight. I will stay up as I'm brushing my teeth, putting my onesie PJs on. Just kidding. I'll post out an update if there's anything to know about this LaPorte or Stark County cell. Okay, I'll keep my eye on it. My hunch is it's just going to be heavy rain, lightning, and maybe some gusty wind. And that's for you in LaPorte, Rolling Prairie, Kingsford Heights area, Michigan City getting hit pretty good right now. But again, it's all sub-severe. We're going to keep it that way. We'll go from there, okay? All right, everyone have a wonderful night. We'll be back with more updates if needed this evening. If not, you'll hear from us tomorrow, and we'll talk about the week ahead. We've got a Region Weather Live tomorrow night, and we'll talk about the next 10 days and what that pattern gives. I'm going to give you a little heads up. It's not too bad. It's looking pretty spring-like, so that's some good news. We do have a lot of rain coming our way this week, though, okay? All right, take it easy, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on this special edition of Region